What's up, YouTube? Welcome back to Living Life Rated PG, a place for 9-to-5ers, career professionals, and people who just want to be great in the space that they're in. This week, I want to talk about 3 fear statements that we tend to hide behind and don't really provide enough context. Let's talk about it.
No, please don't kill my vibe. Live my life, I give it all I can.
So, this week, I want to talk about 3 fear statements that we tend to hide behind or kind of use as crutches, as a reason and a justification not to pursue the thing that we really want to pursue, or not to go after something, or just kind of as a crutch, just to give us kind of a way out if it doesn't work out. You let me know in the comments if this is something that you struggle with or you have struggled with before. The first fear statement is, what if I fail, or fear of failure. I think everyone or most of us have used this statement at least once or twice in our professional careers, or just kind of in our lives as a whole. And fear of failure, or what if I fail, that's a very broad statement. What does that really mean? And more specifically, what does that even mean to you? What if I fail? People fail every day. You have probably failed every day, more than once. Think about maybe you could have misspoken, or you put the wrong seasoning in your food. I mean, failure is relative. So what if I fail? What does that really mean? I think about maybe you're considering a promotion, or considering posting for a new job, or taking a class, or doing something. Maybe that's something a little bit outside of your wheelhouse, trying a new venture for the first time. Maybe you want to do this, but because it's not kind of a normal routine for you to try new things, you give yourself kind of an escape hatch, just in case you decide to change your mind at the last minute. What if I fail? What if I can't do it? It's possible that you can't do it. It's possible that if you do it, you won't do well in the first time because you haven't done something like this before. But then on the flip side of that, it's possible that you'll do it and you'll be amazing at it. So what if I fail? What does that really mean to you? What are you really trying to convey when you make kind of a broad statement like that? Sometimes what if I fail means, what if I'm not good enough? What if I fail means, what if other people don't think that this is right for me, and so they count me out before I really get started? Maybe I fail because they don't allow me to really fully kind of pursue an opportunity, or to kind of fully immerse myself in the learning process. What if I fail means, what if I get halfway through college and realize that my major is really not what I'm interested in, or I just don't want to be in college at all, and now I have to tell my parents that I tried it and I don't like it and it's just not working out for me? What if I fail their expectations? What if they are disappointed in the decisions that I've made? What if I start down a career path and I get 2-3 years into it and I realize this is really not what I want to do with my life at all, but I don't know how to start all over, so I'll just kind of be unhappy in the space that I'm in, and I won't really try to pursue resources to do something different, or to get different information so that I can start kind of on a path down course correcting. What if I fail really needs to be very specific for you, because you don't want to kind of make these broad statements and then they hang over your head and you really haven't given them any context. One of the things about fear, it's so important for us to be able to identify what it is that we're afraid of, so that we can start taking the tangible steps to overcoming the fear, so that we can control that narrative, whatever it is that feels like some sort of suppression or opposition, or can lead to depression. We have to be able to give fear a name so that we can manage it and we can control it. Think about when you were younger and you were afraid of the dark, and you would you'd think that something was hiding under the bed or something is in the closet. What is something? What is something? Is it the thought of maybe an image of a movie that you saw or a story that you heard or something? It's something connected to something else. It's connected to another emotion. It's connected to another experience. Fear just it can't just exist on its own. It has to feed off something else. And so it's really important for us to give context and description and identity to our fear so that we can deal with it appropriately, so that we're just not running in circles from a very broad umbrella of possibilities in the worst possible way. Because it'll keep us from being able to be progressive and moving forward. So we want to make sure that we provide some context to our fear, so that we know how to handle it, especially if we're able to kind of overcome in this moment. But when we get to the next moment, that fear of failure or what if I fail, it'll wait for us again because we've not identified what it is that we're running from. And so because we don't know what we're running from, we are destined to keep running into the same thing over and over again. The next fear statement that I think we can hide behind sometimes is, what if they don't like me? I think that's a big one because I think we all at some point in our lives have faced maybe meeting new people, just kind of feeling anxious about new interactions, networking. I've talked to so many people where networking really feels like a crippling experience for them, like your throat gets all tight, butterflies in your stomach, just, and in your normal day-to-day, it's fine for you to kind of move in and out of different circles. But networking, because you have defined it as networking, makes you feel kind of really nervous. And so maybe, what if they don't like me? Takes you back to a place where you remember meeting new people, or you were the new kid in school, the new kid in the class, and kids had already formed kind of their social cliques, and it was hard for you to get integrated into that. So what if they don't like me is a very broad statement, but it's connected to another experience or a different emotion. And so it's really important for you to be able to understand what if they don't like me fear statement is connected to, so that you can find new tools and resources to be able to move beyond that. I think sometimes when you're shy, sometimes we feel awkward. I feel awkward all the time. It's awkward doing this. It's awkward for me to coach and support people because I always feel like my personal story is my personal story, and some people may look at it kind of weird. But I think that's one of the reasons that I also love what I do, because it gives me an opportunity to show someone else that you can be quirky and have your own kind of isms and things that you work through, but you still work through them, and success is evident, and it will be imminent, and it will be available for you regardless of what it looks or feels like in that moment. But what if they don't like me? So I think the flip side of that is they probably won't like you, and so who cares? Like, will you really stop because if they don't like you? Sometimes we can put a lot of emphasis on things that are really temporal in the big picture, and they don't matter. They have no relevance. I even think about situations where maybe you feel like you and maybe your manager or your leadership team, or maybe a team lead or one of your peers, that there is just kind of a personality conflict and you're not able to kind of overcome it. Sometimes the lesson and the growth opportunity is not even about them. sometimes it's all about you. It's your ability to kind of check your face and not wear all your emotions on your sleeves, and be able to kind of manage your emotions in those situations and not feel like, just because their attitude is kind of janky, that you have to kind of match, wit for wit or whatever the case is. Sometimes the lesson and the approach, fear really comes into those situations to kind of rub you and remind you and provide some friction so that you can get a little stronger, and learn just better ways to be able to kind of move in and out of those types of situations. It's possible that they really won't like you, and not because you're not likable. They may not like you because they're just a crappy person. And they don't like themselves. Like, they're dealing with something on the inside. And so, sometimes people project the things that they're trying to deflect internally. So don't worry about it. As a mom, hear my heart. Not everybody's going to be your friend, period. And it's okay. Because trust me, later on in life, you'll be thankful that they didn't like you. And that's just that. But it can also be a statement about you and your delivery or your effectiveness, or you questioning your own worth. I think about my daughter years ago was in competition dance, and what if they don't like me? Coming from her in that moment was really, what if I miss a step? Or what if I don't remember the routine and I mess up and I don't get accepted for this dance troupe because I couldn't remember the routine? It wouldn't be that they don't like you as an individual. That's not really what you're worried about. You were worried about your own preparedness and whether or not you were ready for this level of competition. And so sometimes statements like, what if they don't like me, isn't about them. It's really about you. It's about you wanting to make sure that you have done everything that you could possibly do to prepare for this moment, to prepare for this opportunity. And now you're dealing with self-doubt. And so instead of acknowledging that you are just concerned day of or day before jitters, just being worried about your ability to perform and to be able to perform at a certain level or a certain capacity. That's really what you're worried about. You're not really concerned about whether or not they're gonna like you and that you're gonna be able to get along, or there aren't gonna be any personality conflicts. So again, kind of sometimes we need to peel back what it is that we're saying so that we can get to the core of what it is that we are truly concerned about. And not just allow these broad statements about fear and being afraid to define how we move forward in the next couple of moments. So make sure that if you're saying things like, what if they don't like me, that you're really addressing kind of what lies beneath that statement. So the next one and the last one, which I think is huge, is what if I get hurt? I think when I've heard statements like, what if I get hurt, or what if it hurts me, or what if they hurt me, or, I think about people wanting to get involved in relationships or maybe get married or things like that, and maybe they've been divorced or maybe they experienced a breakup. And now there's a new opportunity that kind of awaits you to just kind of embark on it and see where it goes. Like, no commitment long term. Like, no one's proposing to you again. They're just asking you to go have coffee. And immediately it's, I don't want to get hurt again. What if I get hurt? It's just coffee, first of all. Like, one step at a time. Sometimes you put the cart before the horse. And I think we take into ourselves too many scenarios that really aren't in play. And it's not about kind of preparing for the worst. It's really just talking yourself out of the moment. Because here's the thing, the truth is that it is very possible that you could get hurt. It's possible that this could develop beyond this moment and something could happen later on. It's possible that you could embark on this new career journey and something happens, like the situation that the world is in right now, and the job that you absolutely love so much goes away because you're furloughed, or your company closes, or they have to let you go. A number of things can happen that would hurt your feelings. That would be a disappointment. That would kind of shake things up, and maybe you weren't prepared for them. That's not a reflection of you. Because something disappointing happened, because a situation happened that was hurtful, it was sad, your feelings got hurt in the end, is not a reflection of you, and it is definitely not a reflection of things that you are deserving of. Sometimes life just happens to us. And so it is good to try and prepare as much as possible, manage your spending in times of plenty, making sure that you have a nest egg put away for yourself, to kind of help you through kind of hard times. It's also necessary to make sure that you have established a support system and a support team. So when things happen, like, furloughs and job losses and things like that, that you have a community kind of there that you can rely on, and they can kind of help you connect and navigate the job market and kind of the space that you're in. It's also important to make sure that you have like a personal support system. So, if relationships change and those situations happen where there's personal disappointments with life and relationship and love and friendships and things like that, that you have a community of people that you trust to be able to help kind of lift you up and keep you motivated and encouraged. But the broader, or the bigger answer to the broader question is, what if I get hurt? You might. You just might get hurt. But you can't hide behind the fact that you might get hurt. I mean, it might rain tomorrow. Are you not gonna go outside and drive to work, or go to a restaurant, or, for the rest of the year because one day it might rain? No, you're not gonna make kind of those definitive adjustments to your life because one possibility is on the table. There are a number of possibilities that are always at play, like all the time. Getting hurt is one of those things. It's one possibility. Failing, not meeting somebody else's expectation, disappointing your parents disappointing you. All of those things are possibilities, and they're always at play. But you need to make sure that you can be very clear about what it is that is keeping you nervous and holding you back, and not lending it to kind of those broader fear statements. Be very clear on what it is that is concerning you. Because when you can name it, you can identify it, and now it's easier to deal with it because I know what it is. The unfortunate thing about fear, and that is really, I believe, in my own opinion, that makes fear seem like it's so strong, like it's such a powerful emotion and experience, is because we don't always know what we're afraid of. If you are afraid that If you're just afraid that, you apply for this job and maybe you had a bad interaction with the hiring manager a couple of years ago and you're afraid they're going to hold that over you. It's not, I'm afraid that I'm going to fail. I'm afraid that this person is not over it and they're going to be bitter and they're going to use this opportunity to get back at me or to make sure that I can't pursue this opportunity. That's really what you're afraid of. How do we combat that? One, probably, don't be such a crappy person to people. But maybe apologize. Maybe try to put out better energy into the world. Maybe not be so emotional, or maybe learn some techniques on dealing with your own personal anxieties. Fear really is a response of something that's happening on the inside of us. What you're afraid of is your own truth, and being able to use your voice to convey what your experiences are and what your needs are. That's how we deal with fear. We have to confront it head on, and we definitely have to give our fears a name. We can't allow them to just kind of linger and hover over us like a cloud of dark fog or something, just kind of hanging over our heads. Give your fear a name. Be very specific about the thing that's bothering you. That's the only way that you're going to be able to kind of overcome it and confront it and deal with it and be able to move on. So we're all about course correcting over here at Living Life Rated PG. And so my hope for you is that whatever those things are that you are feeling like you are afraid of, those things that are causing you anxiety and your own just troubling you, make sure that you really understand what they are. Give those things a name, call them what they are, and then make sure that you understand clearly what it is that they are connected to. These things are connected to emotions or other experiences. So make sure that you understand what it is that they're connected to, what that experience was, and how you felt in that moment. These things are helpful tools and resources so that you are able to move forward, not in fear, but move forward in the confidence of knowing that this thing is a thing, but I'm not going to let it hold me back. We can deal with it because we're starting to call it out and we know exactly what it is that's trying to hold us back. So I hope that this video was helpful for you. I hope that it will cause you to be really introspective, and when it comes to those things that you are afraid of, those things that kind of fill your life with anxiety, I hope that you are able to really kind of deal with first with yourself, and then if you've got to pull in other folks to start having some really tough conversations so that you can move forward in wholeness and health. I really hope that this was something to kind of inspire and motivate you to start that process of looking at fear closely and making sure that you can understand and identify exactly what it is that has been holding you back. And wipe these fear statements, just wipe them completely out of your life, and take them out of your vocabulary, and start saying some affirming things. Start affirming yourself, start affirming your worth, start establishing yourself in thoughts that build you, that build your character, that help build you emotionally and mentally, and start speaking well of yourself. Definitely start speaking well of yourself. And as I always say, be kind to yourself. That is it for this week's video. Make sure that you visit and subscribe to my site, livingliferatedpg.com. Also follow me on my social media pages at livingliferatedpg on Instagram and on Pinterest. If you enjoyed this content, please hit the like button and definitely subscribe and turn on your notifications. New videos every Sunday. All right, take care. Bye, y'all.